In this video, we'll discuss how the voice relates to the spirit and consciousness of a person and why it should be integrated when reading someone's facial features. Enjoy. Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm not sure if you saw the posting on YouTube, but I got very sick this week and I wasn't able to do the face reading tutorial. So here it is on the weekend. I'm doing it now because I have a little bit more lung qi available to me. I still don't have a lot. So I'm going to be talking a little bit slower than usual. If I cough or have a little bit of a coughing fit, just realize it's part of the process. My apologies, but it is what it is. But I am feeling much better. I don't know if it was COVID. I also don't really care. The way I've always looked at COVID is that it's just a nasty cold. And so my protocol for immunity is the same: quality nutrition, rest, sunlight, sauna, and that's what I did. But this one kicked my ass for sure. I hadn't been sick in about 5 years. I'm kind of not bragging in any way, but I'm kind of bulletproof with my immune system. Like, I'm very, very resilient. And if I get a cold, it's gone usually within 12 to 24 hours. And I can exercise my way out of it or take some supplements or just take a nap. And I usually bounce back, but not this one. I was due. So that being said, that's why my voice sounds different. But given that my voice sounds different, I wanted to piggyback that parallel and make a video on the tone of voice in relation to face reading. So a lot of times when I discuss the tone of voice in face reading, a lot of people don't understand because the tone of voice is not a facial feature. So why would that matter? How can we read it? How is that even relevant? So I want to paint a picture for you. When we're reading the face, we have to keep in mind yin-yang theory. When we look at that symbol, the yin-yang symbol, is meant to be a template of sorts. You can overlay it onto anything: an environment, a relationship, a friendship, your body, life, you name it. You can put that symbol on there and then look for the positive and the negative, the fire and the water, the hard and the soft, all of that. When we overlay the yin-yang symbol onto the face, I want you to think of it like this in terms of science: matter and energy. The material form and the energetic. The facial features, the flesh, the bones, the shapes, the things you can touch. The face is the yin, it's the material. And the energetic, the energy, is the tone of voice. It's the vibrations being created in the throat, emanating from the lungs, right? The air from the lungs coming through the body. And that sound resonates through the bones of the face out into the world. So it's very relevant. Chinese medicine also stipulates that the tone of voice is reflective of the Shen, or the spirit of a person. So when we're reading Shen, we're reading a person, we're reading all these things, you don't want to overlook the voice. Can we read a face without hearing the tone of voice? Absolutely. This is why I look at pictures of strangers sometimes and I'm reading their faces. But listening to the tone of voice, incredibly important, very applicable, very relevant. Another idea to consider in the context of Chinese medicine is that the lungs house what they call the po, or the animal spirit of a person. So when we hear the tone of voice, there are two primary elements that are being expressed and that can be assessed of sorts. And that's the metal element, which houses the lung and large intestine function, and the fire element. Because the fire element houses the heart, the small intestine, the pericardium, and the sanjiao, which is our endocrine system. And we know, or many of you may know, if you watch my videos, the consciousness or the spirit of a person resides in the heart. So when the tone of voice is spoken, right, the connection in Chinese medicine is you can hear the tone of someone's spirit in their voice. Now, I've had many instances in my life where I have heard someone's voice and I didn't even see their face, and I got a good feeling or a bad feeling. A couple times that bad feeling, I was dead on, and I'm not going to go into the details of those stories, but hearing someone's voice made my spider sense tingle. And when it did, there was for good reason. All I did was hear the person's voice. So there's a lot to be gathered, ascertained from listening to the voice. We can say something, we can say a phrase, the words, "How are you doing?" Or "How are you doing?" And those tones are going to completely change the tone of what's being said and what's being felt by the other person. So when we're reading a face, Yeah, read the features. Pay attention to the jing. Pay attention to the qi, the coloring. Pay attention to how the features animate and how someone's face is expressing. Absolutely. But the icing on the cake, the energetic component, the immaterial part you cannot touch and you can't technically measure is the voice. So you'll notice right now my voice sounds different. It's indicative of a physical marker. I was sick. Does that mean the moral integrity of my spirit is degraded because I was sick? No. But the tone of voice definitely points to something happening inside my body. And again, remember, the tone of the voice animates and reverberates through the skull, out of the face and into the world. And face reading says the light of the spirit comes through the face of a person. So that sound, that vibration is coming out. When we think about the metal element, okay, the lungs, that animal spirit, the vibration, if you think about the symbol of metal, what are gongs made out of? Gong. It's taking a piece of metal and hitting it, and it vibrates, and those vibrations move through the air, picked up by the ear. And so there's something about the metal element. This is why the metal element relates to the spirit, the spirituality. It's about how energetic form transmutes and travels through space to affect the external world around us. All we have to do is think about chanting. People om and doing those kinds of things as a means to further enlightenment, to massage the endocrine system. That's a big piece of chanting. When we hum and we vibrate, it actually moves the tissue around the glands. So there's a lot of reasons on why this is relevant, but I'm trying to paint this picture for you is that when you read facial features, it's very important, but always take into consideration the voice. You may have met someone whose face may even put you off. Their features, their elemental breakdown, they might be a little abrasive or not completely congruent with you, but then they speak. As soon as they speak, you're pleasantly surprised and the voice can disarm you. And that's relevant because you're hearing the quality of the spirit. So in face reading, if we think about Jing, Qi, and Shen, and the three layers from which we can read a face, the voice is going to be a metric pulled from the Shen layer, okay, the immaterial component. So try to think of the voice as an extension of the Shen, the light of the spirit coming out of the face. The voice is an extension of that. So if you got questions, comments, let me know down below. Take care.